that is a metaphor that I can make because I understand everything there is to know about sports. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Cannata.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens. Jeff, I want to ask you, have the children gotten to the point yet where they have swallowed something that they should not have swallowed?
Oh, boy. It's funny that you bring that up. Yesterday, my daughter, 3 years old, adorable, light of my life.
Bless her heart. A perfect child.
Just a joy. Is sitting at the kitchen table. Mom has given her her sippy cup with the plastic straw, the hard plastic straw, not a disposable straw, but like the hard reusable. Put it in the wash it, reuse it straw.
It's part of the thing.
It's part of the thing. My child, delightful, light of my life.
Honestly, just a perfect child.
Just no complaint.
No notes.
My child decides to take a bite out of said straw, just crunch into the hard plastic so that there are shards.
Oh my.
Shards of plastic in her mouth. Big grin on her face, happy as the day she was born.
I love it. I absolutely adore it.
My fingers going into her mouth, digging around, trying to find all the pieces of the deadly plastic that she will inevitably get lodged in her esophagus and cause medical emergencies.
Listen, this happens. The foreign objects wind up in mouths. Foreign objects wind up inside people.
Yeah.
Happens all the time. It's not for us to ask why it happened or how it happened.
No, let's not attack the root cause of this.
No, number one, we don't kink shame. Okay?
Not here.
That's
not
number one.
On this podcast.
We don't kink shame on this podcast. We would never. Number two, I don't want to know. If it's in all honesty, don't want to know.
Right.
But I was not a kid who swallowed a lot of stuff that they were not supposed to swallow. My little sister, also didn't swallow. This story. Yeah.
You told this story before about the nose.
Yeah. She put a marble right up her nose.
Yeah.
Just because she was like, marble fit in nose. That's where marble is. Like, I wasn't that kid. My sister was. But, I was a preschool teacher for a little while. I have seen these things happen. And also, like, sometimes weird shit happens to adults. And once again, it's not for us to ask why.
Right. We don't know why it got there or when it got there or under what circumstances it got there. That's all in the past.
That's all in the past. But the question is, Jeff, if somebody swallows something or an object gets lodged within somebody.
Then what?
Then what? How do we get it out? We got to cut it out, right?
Yeah.
If it gets stuck, like it becomes a surgical thing, right?
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun at all.
Or we got to, I don't know, is there like a human equivalent of a roto-rooter? I think it's probably a proctologist.
Yeah, I think there literally is there's a thing that goes into places and pulls stuff out. Yeah,
I think a lot about the original. I never saw the Colin Farrell Total Recall, but I think about the original Total Recall a lot.
Oh, right.
And the nose up into the brain to remove the tracker.
Yeah, and it's got that device with the 3 prongs that come out and extend, and a disturbing image for a child.
Yeah, so we got to get things out, and it ain't easy to get things out.
How are we going to get them out?
Well, Jeff, what if I told you we put slime? We put slime into their bodies.
Okay, so there's something in there that I don't want in there, and you're going to put something else in there that I also don't want in there, and it's going to help in some way? This is what you're telling me.
Jeff, what I'm saying is we need to do, literally all we need to do is just put a horrible slime into your body.
This is the 1990s Nickelodeon solution to everything?
Absolutely.
Slime is the answer?
Slime is always the answer. So basically, this was something that was created. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, it's a slime robot. I was like, how am I going to say this to where it's not spooky, creepy, weird? There is no way. It is simply, Jeff, a slime robot.
Are we talking a robot that looks like slime? Or are we talking actually an organic-y, slimy, icky, sticky, gooey thing?
This is a magnetic slime that's made of like a polymer, and it looks like slime. It's basically like Nickelodeon GAC or one of those YouTube tutorials where it's like, let's make slime or let's clean things with slime. It's a non-Newtonian fluid.
Oh, non-Newtonian.
It is a non-Newtonian fluid, which somebody can swallow, and then it can be magnetically remote controlled within the body.
Amazing.
It's pretty wild. So
all right,
this
first of all, don't swallow magnets.
First of all, well, okay.
Bad idea.
So there are a lot of things to say about this. But I want to show you, I want to show you what this thing looks like in motion, if I may, because I think you're going to love it.
Oh, okay. Well,
and by love it, I mean, I think you're going to be horrified.
God, it's way worse than I thought.
It is
way worse than I thought.
It is a weirdly textured, it looks like a slug. And what
it's so horrible.
And what they're doing, they're showing it.
What is it doing?
They're showing it in this video, crawling around through obstacle courses and bending around wires and cutting.
It literally grabs things with its slime body.
It can be cut apart and reform itself. It can squeeze through tiny openings that are much smaller.
So wait. Here's the worst part about it. It doesn't move like you think it should. It moves in a herky-jerky, horrible, like early 50s sci-fi manner.
I would call it Lynchian. Yes. I would definitely call it a Lynchian
horror show.
Yeah. It's sometimes it moves very slowly and smoothly like a slug, and then sometimes it moves like a stop motion nightmare.
It lurches is what it does. It lurches.
It lurches until it doesn't, and then it's way too quick.
Yes, exactly. It moves slowly and then fast and then slow and then fast in a way that is very disconcerting.
Yeah, it's like a Walking Dead zombie, you know? Slow, fast. Slow, fast.
But also, you know, I'm thinking of slime in the, like you said, Nickelodeon GAC. I'm thinking of all those toys you can buy at the drugstore that have fluorescent colors. This looks like something you would pull deep out of a drain in your house.
Yeah.
Like when you have a problem and your drain won't drain and you call the man to come and he sticks the Roto-Rooter down and he pulls something out and you're like, oh my God, is that a dead rabbit? What is that? Is that a rodent of some kind? What is that? It is brown and black and, like you said, textured in a way that I don't like.
It's roughly textured. You expect it to be smooth. And I think it's roughly textured because of it's got to be the magnetic particles, because it's made of, I'll tell you, it's honestly, its makeup is incredibly simple. If you've ever made oobleck or slime, it's honestly not that far away. It's polyvinyl alcohol, borax, and basically tiny magnet shavings. That's it.
And all you have to do is swallow it.
And all you have to do is swallow that into your body and let it move around like a nightmare. That's all you have to do, Jeff.
Oh my God. All you have to do. You swallowed the Matchbox car. Now you need to swallow this horror show in order to get the Matchbox car out.
Yeah. It's fascinating that it's so simple, though. Like, I cannot stress that enough. It's fascinating to me that it's such a simple makeup.
Yeah.
And that we haven't really, I think the reason we haven't thought of something like this before is sort of
it's terrifying.
No, Jeff, science thinks of 100 terrifying things before breakfast. No, Jeff, I think the reason we haven't had this before is simply the level of control over the magnets.
Yeah.
Right? Like they need to exert very specific changes in magnetic force and magnetic field to get it to look as terrifying as it does. Well, you think it just comes out looking that terrifying, Jeff? No. There needs to be some sort of Ray Harryhausen at the wheel.
Yes. That's right. A Phil Tippett of some kind.
Yeah.
Some sort of, you
had one job, Phil, supervise the dinosaurs.
It is extraordinary how there is one part of the video where it wraps itself around what looks like a wire of some kind, like a wire hanger that you would unravel, but it wraps itself around it extremely efficiently.
Yeah, it basically stretches itself very thin. They're able to tell it to flatten and to stretch, and then it becomes almost like paper.
It rolls itself. It rolls up around the wire hanger.
It becomes the burrito covering of this wire, which I think is utterly fascinating. The level of control that they have over this is so minute and so delicate, and the way they're able to maneuver it around, because it's moving around in the human body has certainly stretchy qualities. Our tissues can move around.
Yes.
But you don't want to overexpand something and tear it, right? And likewise, you want to be able to get into a much tinier space from a larger space. They're probably using either endoscopic cameras or MRIs to see where this thing is. I can't be an MRI because it's full of magnets, but they're doing something to where they're figuring out where this thing is and how they need to stretch, squash, bend, and shape this thing.
Now, Anthony, I hate to invoke the marketing department in a science story.
Sure.
Right? It's the last thing we need.
Because the thing sells itself, Jeff.
It does sell itself. And the last thing we need is those marketing folks coming in here and mucking up something that is elegant and pure and scientifically proven.
Yeah. And doesn't give anybody any bad feelings at all.
However, I must suggest.
Go on.
Cannot we, at the very least, throw some fucking food coloring on this bad boy? Can't we neon it up in some way? Can we make it a more palatable color? If nothing else?
It is black. It does look like it looks like Venom when Venom doesn't have a person.
Yes, it does look like Venom. It looks like a symbiote.
Yeah, it's almost like it looks like a slug or a leech. It's like a dark black, and its default shape, because its slime is sort of like an oblong teardroppy sort of shape, and it does look like a monster. It looks like a million things from a horror movie that you should not swallow, because once it gets in you, it's going to control you.
If there is one thing that all of my evolution has taught me, it's do not swallow anything that looks like that.
Yeah.
And yet this is what science is telling me to do.
No, now is the time.
My instincts.
But, Jeff, science is constantly evolving, learning, changing. And where we used to say, don't swallow the slime monster, now we can say we've learned a lot. And we've decided definitively that we were wrong and that you should swallow the slime monster.
That's really the definition of science, is new information, new hypothesis.
Yeah. We used to think slime monster bad. The same way we thought Earth was flat. Because why? Because you look at Earth and you think to yourself, must be flat. You look at slime monster, you think to yourself, must be bad. But Jeff, what if I told you
bad.
slime monster is made to swallowed by you?
Yeah. Yeah, it really is.
You are swallow supposed to now.
There's also the part of the video where someone takes a scissors to it.
Yeah.
And just chops it into multiple pieces.
Yeah, it's self-healing.
And it's okay with that. Again.
Well, let's not ascribe self-awareness to the slime monster.
Well, it doesn't miss a beat. I'll just put it that way.
It does not. I don't
want to hold it back.
I don't want to give it the spark of life if we should not, and if it does not have it. But yeah, it does heal itself.
You can't destroy it, is what I'm saying. You can't stop the monster. Even if you don't want to swallow it, it seems that maybe you won't be able to prevent it from being inside you.
No, it certainly cannot be stopped or slowed down. And that's one of the most important things about it. That's really its genius, is that it can't be stopped. And once it's in your body, It's in there for as long as it wants to be. That's what's good about it. I keep trying to explain to you what's good about it. And you're not, it's like you're not listening.
I can't listen because of the images that keep flashing in front of my eyes. Is the only application for this thing to just get foreign objects out of bodies, or does it have other uses?
Well, this is what's fascinating about it. It could go into small. It could go into small places. It could. It's not just the human body. We were talking about like how it can connect wires and things like that. It could go deep into the structures of things and make simple repairs.
Wait a minute. Could I put some slime into my walls and it will run some sweet ass speaker wire through my walls?
I don't see why not.
Let's do that. I mean, I guess we're in the wireless world now where I don't need sweet ass speaker wires in my walls, but
you still let's be honest, you still need some wires. Now we're in the age of hiding the wires that you do need because they don't fit into our beautiful conception of the world.
I'll slime up my walls. Like just throw some black ass goo in my walls and I'll pull some Ethernet cable from one room to another so I don't have to use the crappy Wi-Fi.
Listen, if
there's that wired action.
If there's one thing that reading a lifetime of Ray Bradbury has taught me, it's have something living in your walls. It's fine. Just have it live in your walls. It can't do any harm to you from there.
Yeah.
What is your house going to do to you? I ask.
Maybe at night you'll hear it moving. Who knows?
I don't know. That's just the slime doing what it's supposed to. Go to sleep, honey. That's the slime at work.
Yeah. Don't worry, honey. The slime is just reorganizing the interior of our walls.
And our minds. As it will do. I think this is great. So, I mean, it honestly, all joking aside, there are a lot of uses for this, and it is a very simplistic, soft robot. We talk about soft robotics. We were talking just a few episodes ago about the sort of self-replicating robot made of stem cells, right? That's made to kind of help you heal and push things around. This is sort of the perfect example, unfortunately, of soft robotics, which is why soft robotics has always made me a little queasy. But it's also what is kind of perfect about it. It's simple to make.
Yeah.
It's incredibly inexpensive. It's incredibly flexible and useful.
Right.
Unfortunately, this is the goopy, terrifying future that we want.
I agree. I think that, science fiction writers and lots of folks for many, many years always fantasized about the android who was just like a human being. And I'm sure there's folks working on that. But I got to believe that our future is much more this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Is simple robots that have basic functionality that you can iterate on, and they'll do useful things, but they're very simple. They're very sort of utilitarian and not they don't need to have multifunction. You don't need to have a robot that works like a human and does all the different things that a human can do. And, it can operate machinery and go over here and do this and do that. You have these very specialized, specific, simple robots. And hopefully that means that they don't rise up against us.
Yeah. I think that's the trick is when you talk about things like machine learning and AI and robots that can do things that humans can do, the next, I would say, look, Ray Kurzweil, that son of a bitch, I love him and I want him to be right all the time. But that son of a bitch put out another one of his things where he's like, we're 10 years away from the singularity. Every 10 years, he says we're 10 years away.
It's always 10. Yeah.
And like Kurzweil, I love you and I want you to be right, but you got to stop saying 10. Even if you believe it with all your heart, you've got to switch it up just so we think that you're putting some new math into this thing. Because it feels like now you're just hoping. But I think, when we talk about robots doing the jobs of humans, we're talking about you can machine learn, train an AI to be a driving car, right? You can say like, this is what it looks like when another car is too close. This is what it looks like when you should change lanes. Here's a traffic light. Here's what a traffic light looks like when it's like a little obscured from your view, just so you don't miss it. But it's a very specialized thing, right?
Right.
And I think even that is very complicated and expensive. And we've got all of the biggest companies working on it. Like they've got teams working on it 24 hours a day, right? Whereas something like this, I think, is the generation of robotics that we're about to come into, as long as they can make them look less ugly and more friendly. Because I don't want this thing in my house. This thing looks like the thing I'm trying to get rid of and I'm trying to clean up. But imagine if they could put some sort of like a rubberized, soft,
googly eyes? You want googly eyes?
Probably some googly eyes on it.
Yeah.
If you put googly eyes on it, it would probably look good.
I mean, it's a quick solve. But I feel like it's effective. Googly eyes.
It's never failed us before.
It's true.
That's the thing.
As awful as something looks, if you put googly eyes on it, you can't hate you, slime. Come on, look at your googly eyes.
I will say though, even for something this simple, Jeff, we are still farther away than you would think. Just because there is one small problem with this robot. Can you guess what it is other than the terrifying factor?
Is it how we get it out of you?
No, it just comes out. Like everything that goes in that way, it's just going to come out over time.
All right. Okay.
The problem, Jeff,
what's the problem?
You can't swallow magnets, dude. Not just because.
That's what I said at the beginning.
Yeah, but you were right. You can't, and it's not just because like it's a bad idea to swallow a magnet or whatever. Neodymium magnet particles are poisonous.
Yeah.
Magnets are poison.
Well, if only this thing looked like poison.
It looks so appetizing.
If it only had some indication that it was a foul, noxious substance that should not go inside you.
No, but we don't, because it all looks like it's supposed to be swallowed. That's the problem, Jeff.
That is the problem.
It all looks like it's supposed to be swallowed. So that's the biggest thing is they're trying to figure out, because right now
I feel like
the magnet particles are contained within the neodymium fluid, right? And because it's a neodymium fluid, they don't just have like all of this control over it that they have, but also it's got some stuff that makes it resilient. Like if you think about like slime or oobleck. Oobleck is the big non-Newtonian fluid that people make during, for science experiments for kids. Or even like that liquid metal Kevlar or whatever. A non-Newtonian fluid, you exert force on it and it becomes stronger. Right? So it's pretty resilient. The particles shouldn't get out, but like they gun get out. And the scientists are like, look, they gun get out.
Again. Far be it for me to invoke the marketing department on this one. But if you've got
I don't think they're needed. That's the thing is I don't think they're needed here.
No, it sells itself.
Yeah.
It sells itself. But if you've got a product that is literally 3 ingredients.
Yeah.
And one of the ingredients is going to kill you.
Uh-huh.
Not a great ratio is what I'm saying. That's not an easy sell.
Oh.
Is swallow the thing with 3 ingredients. Oops. One of the ingredients should never be swallowed.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. But can I just say in return, come on, swallow the thing. It's gonna help you. Swallow the thing.
Yeah.
Can I just say that? Is that okay for me to say?
That. I mean, it's a good retort. I didn't think about it that way.
Here's the thing. You swallowed the Matchbox car. The Matchbox car will kill you.
True.
Let's say you didn't just swallow like a regular Matchbox car. Let's say that you swallowed like a cool van.
Yeah.
Like a cool Matchbox van or like one of those special ones that they make for like Spider-Man or Star Wars where it's a car, but it has like a Darth Vader helmet as part of it. Like it's going to kill you.
Real pointy one.
Yeah, it's pointy and it's big and it's just oddly shaped and you're going to die. Yeah. Either the Matchbox car kills you, certainly. Or slime maybe kill you a little bit. Those are your choices.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll take the latter. I'll roll the dice.
Now we can still cut you open, but we're not going to.
Not anymore.
Now we have the slime.
Throw the slime down your gullet.
Listen, we ran the math and the slime is slightly less dangerous than the average number of malpractice suits we get.
I would like them to administer the slime?
How?
Is that you just lie on the gurney or the medical bed?
Yeah.
And you lie next to it and you open your mouth and it crawls itself into your mouth. Like that scene in Star Trek 2 where the thing goes into the ear,
Yeah, well, because there are two reasons. Because number one, that's cool and it's like Star Trek 2. But number one, that's also kind of consent. And so, like, if you're just laying there and you let our slime robot crawl inside of you, you know what I mean? Like, is that on us? Like, is that on us?
Yeah, I can't swallow that. Oh, don't worry. You don't have to.
You don't have to. Just just lie back and the slime robot will do the work. That's not okay. But it is consent and you did sort of consent to it. And so there's nothing you can do.
Oh, man.
But they're thinking, so right now there's a layer of like silica, like silica gel do not eat.
Yeah, I know that. I've seen that warning label.
Yeah. That's the gel. Don't eat the silica gel. But because it's a desiccant and like it absorbs moisture, and if you swallow it, it's going to expand. And you're like, there's a whole reason you shouldn't eat silica gel. But silica itself is fine. And so they have a layer of silica that's over it that keeps the particles in kind of, because the silica kind of just floats around the outside of the rest of the robot. It's very cool, actually.
Yeah.
Like it kind of separates like oil and water, where like dangerous robot parts are kind of on the inside. But the silica layer is still not a complete solid layer, right? It's still a porous layer. Yeah. So they're trying to figure out better ways to keep the neodymium magnets in there.
We just need to make this thing like a nice sky blue. It'd be so much more palatable like that. It's just like a lovely sky blue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, or like a wild, like if it was literally just electric slime green, think about how many kids would drink anything that's slime green.
Yeah.
Like children don't even know what Ecto Cooler is, but Ecto Cooler's still on the shelves.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that they need this slime robot to go get that other slime out of the kids because they're so prone to eating it. Yes, that's exactly right. If it was a neon green, a sky blue, a fun purple, like you remember when they made ketchup purple for kids? No, but yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, like a lovely, like a lavender.
Yeah.
Like just a non-threatening purple color.
And honestly, if they could do something about the texture, because I will say once again, it has almost like a porous, spongy texture.
It looks like it looks fibrous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It looks like it's got hair in it.
Yeah. It's not cool. That's the least cool part of it.
It looks like it already ate something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like when somebody does like, when somebody's like, I did my what would the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles look like if they were really in real life, Yeah,
yes. And it's horrifying.
Yeah, and somebody does one of those or like, it's like, oh no.
Yeah. It looks like it started out as a nice, like smooth slime, but then it already absorbed something horrible that you didn't want in your kitchen,
Yeah. And I want to show you, talking about the marketing department, I do want to show you one thing as we kind of wrap up this conversation, Jeff, which is The Guardian, bastion of journalism for 200 years.
Sure.
Covered this same story. And let me show you the Guardian's headline. The Guardian said, magnetic turd.
Magnetic turd. Well, not inaccurate.
Scientists invent moving slime that could be used in human digestive systems. Magnetic turd. Now, researcher who co-created substance says it's not an April Fool's joke. So you're right. There may be some marketing problems here. When the Guardian says it's a magnetic turd.
We're going to need to continue iterating on the title. We're not going to go with magnetic turd. There are no bad ideas. Mm-hmm. No wrong ideas. This is the early part of the process where we just throw everything out and see what sticks.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this slime is sticking.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Yes, You, the science reporter from The Guardian, who's seen everything. Yeah, that's a poop.
It's a robot poop, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you swallow the robot poop is what you do.
Yeah.
That's a problem. It's all problems. I don't know. It's terrifying, but if I had...
Cool.
But
there's something really cool about it, for sure.
It's unbelievable. Once again, like the level of control that they have over it is really fascinating. And like, dude, I had surgery, like actual surgery for the first time a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Surgery fucking, I mean, we all know surgery sucks, but surgery fucking sucks. And one of the worst parts about surgery is your body healing from the surgery, recuperating from the surgery, sitting around and being like, everything I do hurts. I'm always tired.
Yeah.
It's going to take...
Because they had to injure you to heal you.
Yeah.
They had to cut into your body to get to stuff.
And anything that can remove simplistic surgical procedures like this is a huge boon. An absolutely huge boon. I don't know. All I'm saying is swallow the magnetic turd. And why is that a problem? Why is it a problem?
Just swallow the magnetic turd.
What's the issue? Is what I say. Would you in all honesty, if they were like you could have surgery or you could put this thing in your body?
Well, this is much preferable to surgery. I would have a hard time gagging this thing down, but maybe.
Well, it'll help.
It'll definitely help. It'll meet you halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Let us know if you would swallow the slimy robot into your own body. You can let us know. You can let us know on Twitter. You can let us know on the Discord. The Discord's a great place to talk.
Fantastic place. You gotta be part of the Discord in order to be a part of the Discord. And how do you do that? Well, you support this show. The only way we make this show, the only way it's possible, is through our Patreon, patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. And for just $1 every 30 days, that seems like so little. $1 a month, you get access to that Discord. A little more money gets you a little more stuff. You can check that all out at patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. Anthony, I feel like I should have picked a different story now in retrospect, because I feel like we need something to counteract where we've just gone in our imaginations, imagery, description. And yet here I am doubling down on the gooey black gunk.
Do you also have a slime story? We love a double slime story.
It's more of a fungus, but same wheelhouse.
Same wheelhouse. Absolutely.
I've been searching, the news has been so depressing lately, specifically about the Ukraine. It has been so heartbreaking and so frustrating to see the atrocities happening there. I was really encouraged to see a kind of a hopeful story in a strange way, coming out of the same region and from, I think, some horrible origins. This is a story that was posted on our Discord in the Science News channel by old Cahoots himself, Jeff Engelstein. Thank you, Cahoots. This is a story about Chernobyl and the strange black fungi that has started growing there in the 90s after the nuclear reactor melted down. And while that story is obviously tragic, and the occupation of Chernobyl that happened during the Russian invasion, very tragic, there is a glimmer of hope out of all of this. From tragedy is coming some sense of hope, and that is because this strange fungus, this black fungus that no one had ever really seen before, that started to cover all of the desolated area around Chernobyl, may end up being extremely useful to us. There has been some studies on this fungus. It turns out that it grows not just despite the radiation that still permeates throughout Chernobyl, but it grows because of the radiation.
Oh, so I think I know where this is going. But before we get there, can you tell me a little bit about this fungus, like what it is exactly, or like, so this started showing up after the meltdown?
Exactly. It was this black this growth that they were seeing all over everything, on trees, on buildings, and they observed it. They started taking samples of it, trying to understand what it is, and they've determined that it is radiotropic, meaning it doesn't use a photosynthesis to grow. It actually reacts to the radioactivity in the area. And some studies now have revealed that what it is actually is it is full of melanin, which is the pigment that exists in human beings and lots of animals that colors your skin, colors your hair, colors your eyes, protects against ultraviolet light. And this fungi has a large amount of melanin. And in fact, the closer it is to the radioactive material, the more exposed it is to radiation, the more melanin it has.
Whoa.
So it is actually ionizing the radiation, which alters the structure of the melanin molecules in a way that makes the fungi grow faster.
So this fungus it's essentially getting a radiation tan from the radiation around Chernobyl, and the more it gets, like, it basically is sort of feeding off of it, so it grows more.
Right. Yeah.
Does it absorb? Does it act as a radiation absorber as well?
Yes. So
whoa.
the closer, so even in lab tests, they put this thing in a lab and they exposed it to radiation, and the closer it was to the source of the radiation, the more melanin it expressed, and the faster it grew. So I mean, this is some like Akira shit, or some like real intense anime stuff where the crazy fungus gets, the closer it is to radiation, the bigger it goes, and it starts taking over the city. That's what we're talking about here.
That's wild. That there's that like thing that sci-fi authors and super hippies always say, where it's like, oh no, it's not that we're destroying the earth. We're destroying ourselves. The earth will be fine. As a matter of fact, the sooner we're gone, the better it is for the earth, because the earth can begin healing. Because the earth can grow and change in response to almost anything. So this is like an example of that.
It literally grows toward radiation. It will literally sense the radioactivity and grow directionally toward the source of the radiation, which is pretty wild. And here's this wonderful quote. This is kind of what I was referencing earlier. This is a quote from one of the researchers at the Rutgers University. He says, the process really isn't analogous to metabolism or photosynthesis, but it's another form of energy conversion. So we're witnessing like a different form of energy conversion that this fungus is exhibiting that we've never really seen in nature before.
Wow.
And they're calling it melanized fungi. So back in 2020, NASA went, this could be super useful to us, because when we're in space, when we're going to Mars, when we're anywhere in space, we're getting way more radiation than we are on Earth. We're not protected by Earth's atmosphere. So
this is a natural shield.
It is a natural shield. So they went, well, let's see if that actually could help us. So they took a bunch of this stuff into space in 2020.
Hell yeah.
And, the levels of radiation on Mars are about 20x what you get here on Earth. And they found out that they actually absorbed some of the radiation and both reduced the radiation, they insulated against the radiation, and generated energy. So that the idea here could be you could potentially warm a habitat on Mars and reduce some of the radiation that you're experiencing at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I mean,
now it's not, 100%, right? It's not going to be like, it's not going to absorb all the radiation. It's not going to make it completely safe. You can't just, pack fungi on yourself and walk through and be safe.
No, but I'm thinking like what I'm picturing is like, we land on Mars because we signed a 150-year labor contract with Elon Musk. And now we and our children and our children's children are conscripted to Elon Musk, and
right.
we've gotten the Musk Mars terraforming kit that comes with us, and it is a mix of like 3D printing, prefabricated materials, and this fungus as almost like an insulation of some kind.
Right. Yes.
This is just one layer, along with like the other layers of, things like ceramic shielding and 3D printed stuff that has natural kind of like the ability to kind of absorb or reflect radioactivity. This is just sort of like one layer of the habitat.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not complete bioremediation of the radiation. You can't just say, hey, it's going to absorb everything and we're going to be fine. But it will be part of a multi-tiered approach to remediating that radiation and removing it from the biosphere, right? Like actually absorbing it to the point where it is survivable or more survivable by humans.
And then does the fungi itself become dangerously radioactive? I would imagine it becomes a little radioactive, but
it doesn't go into that, but
we're saying it's not quite,
right?
We're saying it's not quite metabolizing, but it is getting rid of it. It's turning it into something else.
Energy conversion, right?
Yeah.
So it's converting it into something else, and I guess that is its own life. So
just have a little radioactive mushroom pasta on Mars.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's a spicy meatball. You know what I'm saying, Jeff?
It's a very spicy meatball.
It's the spiciest of a meatballs. This is really amazing. One of the things that I have found fascinating about Chernobyl over the last, I would say 15 years is just reading stories about wildlife coming back and also how quickly radiation levels have dropped and how surprised they were by the drop of radiation levels. And all of the different things they're finding that nature has been doing to just get rid of the radiation.
Yeah. No, I'm sure you've heard about the red forest that happened in Chernobyl, where the trees literally turned red from the amount of radiation that they experienced. But those trees have since died off and new green trees have sprouted in the place. And it really is. I mean, it's like every friggin' video game we've ever played about the post-apocalypse. Nature reclaims these lands. There's a process where everything dies and everything gets screwed over, and then nature adapts, evolves, and reclaims those spaces. And all these areas in Chernobyl are green and full of life, and there are birds now that land in the branches of these new trees and sing and have a perfectly happy life.
Yeah, the first thing I remember reading about was the Chernobyl wolves. Like the wolves came back very early on, and they were fine. They studied the wolves and they were like, we expected these wolves to have a lot of problems, and they just didn't. And it's fascinating because none of those stories ever really went into the why of it. And it's interesting that we're still now figuring out the why of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and if we can grow this fungus, and use it as a tool to mitigate some of that exposure and that danger, it's a wild thing to have this sort of like a bio suit that you might wear, or like we were talking, like a bio insulation that you would put in a in a physical structure. It's incredible to think that it wouldn't be a purely synthetic solution. We would have literally nature helping us do it. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's wild. This really is the flip side of what we were just talking about, or not the flip side. It really is just, it's the same thing, because we're talking about this eventual future where it's not just soft robotics. We spent so much time over the 20th century eliminating the natural from our technology.
Yeah.
Like that was the big deal, is we were like,
right,
fuck nature. We've got all these machines. We've got all this technology. We're now
plastics, synthetics, all that stuff. Yeah.
It's better than nature. It is more optimized than nature. And now we're going back and we're like, oh, but in all honesty, if we just put more nature back in specific ways, even small things like cities that are trying to use public funds for things like green roofs, because it's like, we could combat so much of rising heat and pollution and all of this stuff and make cities so much more livable if we just had green roofs. Whereas like 20 years ago, if you tried to grow too many fucking basil plants on the roof of your apartment building, your landlord would get a ticket from the city.
Right.
You know? And so it's fascinating seeing how we're like 180ing on this stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, there's actually also, applications for climate change, and the radiation that might need to be mitigated because of climate change. I think that's pretty exciting. This kind of thing where like, if there was, God forbid, another nuclear disaster, they could jumpstart this process because they know how nature handled it over a long period of time, and they could, make it happen much quicker and get to the point of nature reclaiming in a much shorter time window. Just kind of cool. Like there's a lot of really amazing applications. And again, one of the reasons that I think this is so encouraging, and one of the reasons I needed this story right now, is that it's these little silver linings out of something horrible.
Yeah.
Right? We would never have known this had this awful, awful thing not happened.
We fucked this up irreparably, and the earth still tried to give us a pass. You know what I mean? Like the planet tried so hard to give us a pass on this.
Yeah. And if you just pay attention enough, maybe we can learn something from this awful thing that happened.
Yeah. I just found something here from 2010 about melanized fungi in the study of human disease as pathogens for things like pneumonia, local infections. Fungal, like allergic fungal sinusitis, brain abscesses, like all this stuff. Like melanized fungus is actually apparently like a super useful thing that we've been looking into. It's amazing, like how much we can get out of this stuff.
I think what we've learned here today, Anthony, is that, don't judge a goopy black horrible substance by its cover.
I know that you're going to tell me this is the wrong takeaway, Jeff, but the takeaway is just swallow whatever looks like you should swallow it. And some things that look like that you shouldn't. If it feels like it would be interesting to swallow, Jeff, I think the answer is just try.
Swallow it.
Why not?
When in doubt, swallow it.
What do you have to lose except your one precious fleeting human life? Nothing. Swallow the slime.
Get the goopy, gunky horror show inside you immediately, if not sooner.
That's all we're trying to tell you is get the goopy, gunky horror show inside you. That's from a Bruno Mars song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
really,
that's what I thought.
That's a banger too. You can't not dance when
it's a Halloween hit. They'll be playing for years to come. Thanks to Jeff Engelstein for sending in that story, even though he has a completely unprofessional relationship with Jeff where he's just glad handing and just giving freebies and just greasing the palms of Jeff Kanata to get his stories on this show.
I wish more of our contributors would do that, to be honest with you, you know?
You know, Jeff, you're crooked for saying that, whereas I'm just an honest man that says, give us your money in a legal fashion.
There you go. Yeah.
Just give us.
You can sidestep the law.
You don't need to sidestep the law. You just head to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. Give us some of your money.
Yeah. Not a lot. You don't have to give us a lot. We'll take a little bit. Just like $5 a month. It's not a lot.
It's not a lot. And you'll get so much in return. Just check it out. We've got a whole bunch of rewards and goodies for you over there. Patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have not done the dishes in a week and I'm going to swallow whatever is in the sink. Which part of that sentence is true?
None of most of it.